Hi everyone, my name is Guy Juarez and I'm one of the directors here at the Idea Foundation for the Benefit of Humanity. The video you are about to watch is an interview I recently did with my dear friend Suzzan Babcock. Suzzan and her husband Craig are not only the founders of the foundation, but they are responsible for the Know Thyself initiative, or what we like to refer to as KTI. Now, the reason behind this interview was to address some very important questions that have come forward regarding our recent press release we just put out together in collaboration with the Lothlorien Peace Festival in France, September 21st through the 24th. The press release reads, World Peacemakers Call for 3-day moratorium on all news September 22nd through the 24th during Peace Festival in France to stop the world for Elenin's approach. I know this may sound confusing, but what we essentially have here are 3 major events happening on the same weekend. And this video is Suzzan explaining these events and questions that have come regarding the press release and the 3-day moratorium world map page. Also, what has come forward from this is our Community of Hope page, which Craig is currently working on right now. And the people that are on the world map page will have their names added to that. God bless you all, and peace to everybody, and please enjoy the video. Okay, so Suzzan, what KTI is geared on finding 777,000 individuals. What has happened to break that number down to 144,000 and take time out from the 777,000?
Good point. So let's just let everyone know that I hope my voice is going to hold up. And this is the reason that I have not spoken or basically done anything in public before now. It's because my voice has been like this for 9 years now, and it's a consequence of the work I'm doing, and I know that it has nothing to do, it's nothing physical.
And that's a story.
Anything in public before now. It's because my voice has been like this for 9 years now, and it's a consequence of the work I'm doing, and I know that it has nothing to do, it's nothing physical.
And that's a story all in its own.
You bet.
Yes.
It's because we are in a unique situation because of several factors that have come together at this one point in time. And to give you a short, brief explanation or background in the matter, it started with the second press release we put out in August, which we did for your book. And if you remember, I had all kinds of problems trying to put that together.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I connected it to Elenin, being a co-organizer of the Peace Festival, who, you know, it's our director, and he was taking Hopi and Mayan elders to France, and they was going to have a global peace meditation on the 23rd of September. In the meantime, the news started becoming very, very prolific on the web about Elenin, the comic Elenin, and there was all these videos talking about the terrible possibility, or should I say probability, of massive earthquakes, because it connected it to alignments that coincided with the Japanese earthquake, the one in Chile, and the one in Christchurch, New Zealand.
That's right.
And so there was all this going around, and it was like trying to make sense of it, because I've always known there's a reason for everything that's going on energetically and consciously. And I was feeling more and more, and I was hearing more and more from people that the news had become so toxic that people were literally stopping watching it. And as you know, I had.
Yeah.
I just couldn't stand it any longer. And then, after the first press release went out, and we started hearing more and more about Elenin, I went and started meditating and praying about it to find out what we could do. Because I know that consciously, the mass consciousness, if we can actually focus on a point, then we can affect our reality, because that is what quantum physics and the Intention Project and noetics, science of noetics, all of that began to understand. A big example was the Matrix, how the Matrix works, how we create our reality. And so, understanding all of that, I realized there was something I needed to understand about it. And so I did. I got quiet and did what I normally do, and found information which was really quite surprising, and it involved the 3 days of darkness prophecy by the Mayans.
Amazing coincidence.
Yeah, just a coincidence. And the fact that they were connecting Elenin with the blue Katrina and something else with the red Katrina, and Honda and I think Levy were supposed to be 2 brothers, all to do with this prophecy. But when I talked to Leyland about the prophecy, you know, Leyland's an elder and he's very much involved with the Mayans and the Hopi prophecies and understands a lot more about it than I do. And he said a very interesting thing to me. He said, prophecies are given to cause us to change. And I thought, well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Why give a prophecy that is impossible for us to change? You know, it's like, it's no point. It's like saying, okay, on such and such a day, you're all going to drop dead. What's the point of telling us, you know? I mean, should we just enjoy ourselves until that day?
Yeah, that's a great insight. Yeah.
Or should we do something about it? So this is what I was really feeling. So I thought, well, what is the message here? And as I said, I'm meditating, and Craig and I often find this happens. We'll be talking about something we're trying to figure out, and all of a sudden it just pops into our heads. It's basically the way God works, or spirit, or universe, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
And I suddenly saw, and I mentioned, well, why don't we have a 3-day moratorium on the news? And firstly, this might surprise you, I didn't know what moratorium meant. And I thought, well, okay, what does that word mean? And I looked it up, and pardon my ignorance, I found it meant a freeze or a stop. So I'm thinking, okay, so we're being shown we need to freeze or stop the news. So at the same time, I started thinking about, remembering about Carlos Castaneda's Don Juan's books, and how Don Juan said we needed to stop the world in order to be able to change our direction and get into a spiritual mode.
Wow, it's fantastic.
It blew my mind, because I'm thinking, okay, stop the world, stop the news, freeze. I'm thinking, what's going on here? And the 3 days of darkness. Is that allegory to tell us that we need to stop the world for 3 days? And so I thought more and more about it, and it made more and more sense. And I realised that if we could actually just stop from being like lemmings running and heading for a cliff to dive over, and just give ourselves a chance, then maybe we could actually connect completely to find the peace that we're all looking for. And I know that sounds crazy to people, because you say, well, we're so divided and we're so caught up with our own lives and our own problems, and we cannot come together to agree on even how to solve the simplest problems. We're all at odds with one another. So how can we possibly all saw it? And we all literally reacted, and the spike was a shock.
And the spike is graphable.
Yeah.
It was taken off.
Which is what we're going to show.
Yes.
Which you can look at now. And you will be able to see how it demonstrates a clear, unambiguous spike in the consciousness.